For 19 years, Ellen DeGeneres concluded every broadcast with the exact same sign-off: be kind to one another. It became her trademark, her personal identity, and the cornerstone of her entire empire. Yet beneath that pleasant veneer sat a woman whom her own staff would later describe as incredibly cruel. She danced on television daily while preaching goodwill, all while allegedly turning the workplace into a living nightmare. Worst of all, this wasn't a sudden shift, a single bad day, or an isolated blunder. It was 3 decades of deception. The public saw a generous woman changing ordinary lives with unbelievable gifts. But her producer saw a toxic, dishonest hypocrite. The massive gulf between her public persona and her actual behavior stands as one of TV's greatest illusions. Interestingly, this wasn't her first time losing public favor. She had previously lost everything, fought her way back to superstardom, rebuilt her image, and then ruined it all over again. The real mystery isn't how she fell, but whether her kindness was ever genuine to begin with. Once you uncover the full story, those 4 words will never sound the same. These are the many facades of Ellen DeGeneres. Long before she became a household name, she was just a young woman in Louisiana trying to find her path. Her early years lacked the luxury she would later enjoy. Her parents split when she was young, and like many others, she struggled to find her footing. After leaving college, she bounced between odd jobs: painting, bartending, waitressing, and shucking oysters. Every gig was a small step toward a future in the spotlight. Even then, her humor, charm, and knack for connecting with people were beginning to show. That knack soon guided her into stand-up comedy. Ellen began performing on stage, using her awkward wit and observational style to win over clubs. She didn't rely on loud gimmicks or flashy sets. Her power lay in making everyday moments relatable and hilarious. That reliability quickly caught the attention of television executives. As her comedy profile grew, she transitioned to national television, eventually landing her own self-titled sitcom. Ellen was no longer just an aspiring comic. She was becoming a star. Her sitcom gave viewers exactly what they wanted. With every episode, her fame exploded. She earned Emmy and Golden Globe nominations, hosted the Grammys, and established herself as an industry heavyweight. But at the absolute peak of her success, a monumental decision changed everything. Ellen chose to publicly come out as gay. At the time, this was a massive cultural risk, as top celebrities rarely shared their personal lives so openly. To many, it was incredibly brave. To others, it was deeply polarizing. It ignited a national debate. Shortly after, her on-screen character also came out in a historic episode that pulled in over 40 million viewers and won an Emmy. But the celebration met severe backlash. Sponsors walked away, and Ellen even faced anonymous threats. Almost instantly, her momentum vanished as the industry turned its back on her. Ratings plummeted, the show was canceled, and the cast found themselves blacklisted. Ellen had reached the top only to lose her career and support overnight, and many assumed she would never recover. Yet an unexpected break came when Ellen voiced the character Dory in Pixar's Finding Nemo. Without a live stage or studio lights, her vocal performance alone reconnected her with millions. Dory was lovable, chaotic, and completely unforgettable, serving as a perfect reminder of why audiences loved Ellen. She capitalized on this momentum by launching The Ellen DeGeneres Show. This wasn't just a return. She was reinventing herself as a daytime talk show host. The format was a perfect match for her humor and easy charm. Audiences tuned in daily for the iconic dancing, viral celebrity moments, and massive giveaways. Through the show, Ellen carefully rebranded herself around the concept of kindness. Closing every episode with her famous catchphrase, she turned those words into a massive merchandising empire and a symbol of her moral character. She was no longer just a funny comedian. She was America's favorite, safest celebrity who had achieved the ultimate comeback. However, a manufactured image is only as durable as the truth backing it up. At first, the warning signs were minor and easy to overlook. She openly mocked Celine Dion's son for having long hair during an interview. Despite Celine's visible discomfort, Ellen doubled down on the critique. While viewers called her out for lecturing a parent, the incident was largely brushed aside. Things took a sharper turn with Mariah Carey. Amid pregnancy rumors, Ellen pressured Mariah on air by bringing out champagne and forcing her to drink to prove she wasn't expecting. Despite Mariah's clear hesitation and protests of peer pressure, Ellen persisted until Mariah reluctantly admitted she couldn't drink, effectively forcing an early pregnancy announcement against her will. While treated as daytime drama initially, it became deeply tragic when Mariah later revealed she miscarried shortly after. Ellen had forced a deeply private revelation out of pure insensitivity. Taylor Swift faced a similar trial. Ellen relentlessly grilled Taylor about her dating life, flashing pictures of various men on a screen and forcing her to react despite Taylor's obvious distress. Taylor was driven nearly to tears, stating how bad the show made her feel about herself. It was a calculated, uncomfortable interrogation disguised as a bit. Fans began realizing a dark pattern. Stars were being cornered on her stage for the sake of forced humiliation. Regular people weren't spared either, as seen in the infamous Ellen Jail segment. During a giveaway where audience members were told to take only one free item, a fan took a second souvenir for her sister. Ellen used hidden camera footage to single her out live on air, publicly lecturing and humiliating her in front of millions. While the fan broke a rule, viewers felt the public shaming was incredibly excessive and cruel for a cheap promotional item. Critics argued Ellen regularly converted other people's distress into television entertainment. The scrutiny expanded beyond the studio walls when photos emerged of Ellen laughing with former President George W. Bush at a football game. To many liberals and LGBTQ advocates who supported her, cozying up to a conservative figure with a controversial record on gay rights felt deeply hypocritical. Ellen defended herself by preaching tolerance for differing beliefs, but the explanation only alienated more fans. The armor was cracking, and the internet was watching closely. Then came the infamous interview with Dakota Johnson. Ellen casually claimed she wasn't invited to Dakota's birthday party, but Dakota instantly shut down the narrative, stating firmly on air that Ellen was invited but simply didn't show up. Ellen lost control of the exchange in real time, exposing her habit of manufacturing grievances for sympathy. It was later revealed Ellen skipped the party to attend the exact football game where she hung out with George W. Bush. The real breaking point arrived when the blow came from within. A viral tweet asking for stories about Ellen being the meanest person alive opened the floodgates. Thousands of stories poured in from fans, industry insiders, and former staff, painting her as cold, arrogant, and elitist. Soon after, former employees publicly exposed a deeply toxic workplace environment behind the scenes. Staff reported a culture of fear, intimidation, racial insensitivity, and sudden firings for taking medical leave. Even her producer openly labeled her a toxic, phony hypocrite. An official investigation followed, laying bare the contradiction of a show built entirely on kindness, harboring such internal misery. Old clips were reevaluated, and people wondered if her philanthropy was ever genuine. While celebrity friends defended her, a narrative emerged that her warmth was reserved exclusively for the rich and powerful, while ordinary workers were mistreated. Critics also pointed out that her famous show giveaways were entirely corporate-sponsored, rather than personally funded. This became awkwardly obvious in a segment where a struggling student named Jamie was featured. When a corporate sponsorship fell through on air to cover her tuition, Ellen didn't step in with her own immense wealth. Instead, she awkwardly shifted to handing over a basic computer, leaving the student empty-handed regarding her actual needs. To viewers, her generosity looked like calculated television marketing rather than real charity. Worse still were unverified but widely believed rumors of her dismissing sick children once she hit an internal quota for the show's emotional segments. When Ellen finally addressed the toxic workplace scandal, her taped apology felt carefully scripted to many. She used vague language, shifting blame to producers and claiming she had no knowledge of the behavior. Viewers saw it as a transparent attempt to save face and protect her brand rather than actual remorse. The trust was completely shattered. Unsurprisingly, Ellen announced her show would conclude, claiming she needed a new creative challenge. Few bought the excuse, recognizing that the mounting controversies had forced her hand. Her second great empire quietly dissolved. Following the finale, Ellen retreated from public view, but the internet wasn't done examining her elite social circles. When Sean Diddy Combs faced massive criminal allegations, the public quickly dragged up his old connections, including Ellen. Diddy had appeared on her show 17 times, and they frequently joked about her attending his private parties. While she may have been unaware of any illegal activity, her proximity to controversial figures deepened the public's skepticism. Soon after, reports surfaced that Ellen and her wife quietly relocated to England. While Ellen blamed the political climate following the latest election, critics viewed the move as an escape from Hollywood scrutiny and social backlash. The abrupt move only highlighted her growing disconnect from the public. Even in England, luxury property renovations put her at odds with local neighbors, who worried about environmental damage and interference with historic lands. It cemented the image of a celebrity completely detached from ordinary communities. Rumors soon swirled that she was looking to flip the estate and move yet again, leading many to believe her relocations were driven by financial and tax loopholes rather than principles. Ultimately, the public had entirely stopped giving Ellen DeGeneres the benefit of the doubt.